Hey there everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm your host, Feral Pony, your friendly neighborhood game designer and player of many games, including some indie titles here. I'm here to do a quick let's play of a game called Vault of the Void. It's in sort of the deck builder roguelike genre and space. It's made by I think a one-person indie studio, which is always super awesome to see, and there's just a lot of really cool mechanics and things to this game that I really want to kind of highlight and give a little bit of visibility to. So, with that, strap in. We'll see how many episodes it says. Probably going to be about a 2 to 4 episode series, depending on how it goes. I'll try to bucket these kind of in the same way I did the Warm Snow playthrough before. So we'll see how it goes. Let's kick things off. So we're going to do normal just to get a good feel for the game. There's a couple of classes here. This is going to be kind of your classic deck builder single class. Think Slay the Spire with some twists that I'll throw into here. There's a number of classes here. You've got your Hidden, which is a classic rogue archetype, so its two main mechanics are bleed and combo. Combo just repeats spells when you play them. You'll notice here that on all these builds, there's 2 starting deck options, which is kind of cool. They basically generally fit into the two archetypes for every individual character. You don't have to follow these, and there's going to be a lot of bleed over, pun intended there, between the different mechanics. I'll just do a super quick overview of this. So this is your roguelike that has basically bleed, which sort of think of it like poison, just damage over time, that you kind of stack up. And then combo lets you basically play and chain cards together. You have the Tempest, who I don't really like very much as a class, but I can see sort of the appeal. Mostly what they do is they have a mechanic called Zeal that basically gives them a separate resource bar that when they fill it up, they can cast additional spells. We're going to be playing the Enlightened, but we'll also have the Daughter of the Void, which is sort of warlocky kind of corruption class. So they have a mechanic called corruption. Every time they like burn a card, that basically builds up and up and up and up and up. So sort of the infinite scaling class. But they're a little fragile. They're a little kind of hard to deal with. And they also have a lot of sacrifice, sort of health, self-harm spells to kind of buff things up. And then lastly, we'll have the one that I'm playing today, which is called the Enlightened, which is sort of a monk kind of character. You do a bunch of cool stuff. I will show you that in a sec. But it's a very predictive class. You kind of have to get ahead of the game a bit. So between the 2 builds here, I'm going to choose Martial. There's not a huge difference between them, but let's just jump straight into it. One of the interesting things with this game is that the cards are not required. You can kind of customize your deck whenever you want. So every card you earn is sort of added to your general pile of cards. You can choose to use them or not and switch them out as you will. Think of it almost like Magic the Gathering style. So you're not locked into your deck like you are in Slay the Spire. Okay, so these are my starting cards. I'll go over the mechanics as we start to use them. I think I'll probably want this one and this one. Okay. And I'll choose that. Okay. I'm going to gloss over these. I will go over the mechanics so you guys aren't totally lost here. They do call out what bosses you're going to fight. So the way the final stage works is there's 4 mini bosses and there's a big boss, and each mini boss you kill gives a big boost to harm the final boss. So we'll get to that when we get there. So first things first, I'm going to go to Deck Manager. What you'll see here is my 20 card deck. This game is limited. You always have a 20 card deck no matter what, which sounds a little restrictive, but I actually find from a gameplay standpoint is super awesome. It solves a lot of the problems that the other deck builders have, where you want to try to basically burn all your cards down. You don't feel satisfied about getting new cards. You can just basically hoard as many cards as you possibly want and then kind of swap it in and customize your deck as you want. There also are still plenty of options if you want to try to trim your deck down. I won't go into those now, but there are ways to play with this. Okay, so you can see my decks here. It's almost all just like basic blocks and basic kicks. So I'm going to just do a quick thing, and I'll go over these mechanics again in-game once you start using them. I'm just going to do this fast so I can... Visions, okay. I think that's what I want. And... no, that's probably good. Okay, so you'll see I have 23 out of 20 cards, which means I have to drop a few. I think I've grabbed all offensive, so I'm just going to grab a few of these at random. Okay. Alright, so you see this meta map here. So this is first of 3 floors, so there'll be 3 stages we get through. We have to basically go from this left-hand side all the way to the right where the boss is. Every step we have to basically go either, we can never go backwards to the left, so you always have to go to the right. So this first one's easy. We just get a bonus to start the game match off with. What do we want here? Potions, increase max HP, or common artifact. I'll take common artifact. We'll see how this goes. What is this? Okay, that's fine. It's not bad. So what you'll notice here is that when I go upwards, you'll see this, I don't need the card tooltips, but you'll see the the options gray out. What ends up happening is every option that's sort of touching you that you don't pick falls off the map, essentially. So there are, you'll see here, if I go upwards, this bottom option is going to drop off, which forces me into the right. But if I go downwards, I can actually get onto this node and then upward to this node, etc. So there's a little bit of strategy in terms of trying to figure out which paths you can close off and which ones you want to take advantage of. There are also classes that take advantage of blank tiles here, like the rogue is a classic one that's really cool, where you actually want to like collect blank tiles because it boosts one of the artifacts you start with. But we don't have that here, so I'm just going to jump in here and I'm going to try to wiggle my way up that way. Okay, let's jump in. So you'll see that it shows you what your card reward is, so you can kind of plan out that way if you want to. And it shows you what enemies you're going to fight. Okay. All right, there's going to be a lot of mechanics that are going to throw at you right away to kind of make things make sense. I'm going to start with how sort of my class works, and then I'll go into how enemies and stuff work, so bear with me. Okay, so there's a lot of keywords here. One of the first ones that I care about here is opener. Opener says basically if you play that card as the first card of your turn, you get a bonus. So I just get 25% range, which makes me deal more damage. So I will just slap that down. My character also has a move, or has a damage type called Future Strike. So you'll see here it says deal 4 Future Strike damage 2 times. What this means is every other turn, all Future Strike damage applies. So you kind of like, it's sort of that classic like hit them with a punch and then they feel it like a round later. That's the idea behind Future Strike. So that's the main mechanic here we have to worry about. The second mechanic we need to worry about is it's called Zen. So basically if I play 3 cards of the same type, so attacks and abilities, then I basically go into Zen, and you'll see here what happens is all my cards for this rest of my turn are reduced by 1 energy, which is awesome. So punch it there. I'm not going to cast this. You'll also notice that the other unique mechanic in this game is you don't recover very much energy per turn. You get a little bit, but the main way you get energy back is actually by burning your cards. So you'll see I get an extra energy there. So every card can also be used as a mana. It gives your hand a lot of flexibility, and it really changes the way you think about particularly 2-cost cards, because they all still can basically be the same effectiveness. Okay, let's do... I should just go ahead and use this. So the other mechanic we have in addition to Future Strike is called She. There's a play on key. So the way She works is basically you'll see this kind of bottom up damage, this blue damage up here. Basically, if the enemy's health falls below that, think of it just basically like damage from the bottom up of the health bar. Once it triggers, it will basically half the lingering sort of She there will spread out to the other enemies, and so you get these cool kind of chain reactions, which we'll see in a minute. Okay. The other thing is, you'll see when these enemies deal damage, it actually applies to this threat meter. So this is the amount of damage you want to take this round if I don't block it. So let's try to take advantage here. The other thing that the monk has is called delay block. So most of my blocks are not very powerful. They're actually incredibly weak, but delay block is very strong. So what I actually want to do is kind of preemptively block. Sorry, we got a little new birdie. He is very excited. Probably for this game. So let's do that. Break that up. And yeah, you can see I have 6 threat next turn. So if I do that, I have 10 future block, and that will basically absorb that when I go. Now, because it's the every other turn, all my force strike, my damage is going to apply, and you'll see it basically changes over. Perfect Victory. Perfect Victory gives you, if you don't take any damage, gives you additional essence, which is basically just currency. It's gold. Souls are high-level currency that you use for like artifacts and stuff. So, okay, so let's go on. So these rooms, this is an upgrade room, so I get to upgrade a card if I click it, which is awesome. Okay, yeah, let's just jump into here. So we've gone over a little bit how the player mechanics work. You'll see sort of how to deal with like threat and whatnot. The other mechanic is how to win. So what you'll see here is different enemies have filled this certain meter by different percentages. So you'll look under this meter here called battle progress. And if I kill this enemy, the battle progress goes up to 40%, and same with this guy. Now, if I kill the center one, which is much harder to kill, it goes up to 100%. And once this meter fills up, no new enemies will spawn. But if I kill these little mobs first, you can basically, they'll kind of respawn over time. So you're kind of stuck in this dilemma of like, do I want to kill the little guys? And if I kill 3 of these, they'll stop respawning entirely. Or do I try to rush and kill the big one and then take care of the little guys? So there's always that kind of balanced decision making you have to do in these, especially in these multi-mob fights. Okay, well, we're going to perpetuate this block here. I don't need the block this turn, but you'll see I need it in the following turn, which is great. I should have opened with this, but I'm bad, so I did not. Okay, oh, I didn't even realize this also has delayed block. I'm so off my game today. I'm going to just beat up that. So I think this fight will be easy enough that I'm not too concerned about messing up. It's good to kind of get back into the rhythm of things. Okay, let's see what we got here. Stun. I lose energy equal to my stun value. That's annoying. Not that big a deal. And then I suffer threat equal to the poison through the turn. Okay, that's fine. I had delayed blocks, so there's no issues there. Okay, so we've got 10 threat coming in next turn. So let's do that. So take care of that. I'm gonna burn some stuff here. Deal 2 future strike damage 4 times and 6. That's just a lot of damage, which is awesome. I love a lot of damage. We're gonna pop that, and we're gonna pop that. That should take care of those 2 on the following turn. Alright. So, there is one other mechanic, which is kind of nice. Well, basically every character class has sort of permanent escalating threat. So fights will never stagnate. You'll always kind of get more and more and more lethal as the game goes on. The mechanic for the monk, or the enlightened, is called fatigue. So this basically says every other turn when the sort of future strike damage applies, this number goes up by 1 on all enemies that are here. And this basically says increase the number for all future strike and all she damage. Basically every hit has +1 damage for every other turn. So every 2 turns, all my hits deal more damage. Now it doesn't sound like a lot, but keep in mind all of these attacks are basically multi-hit. So this says deal 3 damage 2 times. Now it's going to deal 4 damage 2 times, then 5 damage. There are also hits that will do 3 or 4 hits at a time. So just something to keep in mind here. I'm just going to beat this guy up. I have 8 threat next turn. It's probably worth it. That. Yeah, why not that? Alright. So. Okay, cool. A little bit of poison, so I need to be a little bit cautious there. The other thing is, you have a spell, character spell as well. You can change this out, you can upgrade and get new ones. I haven't found a lot of success, I usually just use the default one. This is called Leverage. Basically applies one weak to all enemies, and then deals a bunch of she. Which, is just basically extra damage, which is nice. But really it's that weak effect that's super, super great here. And so you see this guy is going to die at the end of next turn, basically no matter what happens. And let's just... Oh, so that guy is going to die. Oh, he's not. Okay, we're going to beat him up, so these 2 will pop. Yeah. Okay, everyone's going to be dead, so this fight is in the bag. That sort of chain reaction kind of multi-punch thing is really satisfying on this character. I really, really appreciate it. Okay, so I got some more souls, got an upgrade point. So upgrade point is definitely really useful here. You can see it does stuff like these kicks add another time. It's very rare for me to actually replace all the starting cards, so it's never a terrible idea if you're not sure what to upgrade, to just upgrade one of the base blocks or base strikes. They're not always most amazing, but it's very reliable, and you usually have at least one by the end. You never fully replace them in your deck. I think in this case I'm actually going to replace you. This is sort of my general, it's called Jack of All, and it's just really good. It's like a bunch of damage, well, a bunch of damage, a little bit of damage, and then block and delayed block all in one card. And so I look at this like, block and delayed block. This is block, delayed block, and damage. So I'm going to upgrade this one first. It's a great candidate. Now, this is kind of annoying, because what I want to do is I'd love to grab both chests. That is impossible, but we will take this top chest here. Okay, 32. This is a little bit misleading. You get these 3 cards, but the cool part's actually down here. 32 essence, 2 souls, and an upgrade point. That's great. Oh, all future strike damage converted into she. Okay. Nope, that's okay. I want to keep going. How do I... Oh, I have to... Oh, it was a choose one. My bad. I should have read that better. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna cast one of these gaining momentums. It's not bad, and 50% extra damage on your starting turn is pretty handy. A secret room. Oh, this is rare. Actually, this almost never happens. It's a treasure chest down there, which is awesome. That's really unfortunate, actually, because I want this, but it's actually, I think, better for me to go down here, get that card, and then fight this elite, and get an elite artifact. It's almost certainly the correct call, is to go down, but just for the sake of it, I haven't done a lot of secret rooms, so let's see if there's anything in here. Oh, it's just treasure chest. Yeah, that was definitely a mistake. Okay. Apply fatigue equal to echo wall? No, that's not ideal. Future strike now triggers every third turn, is every other turn. Huh. That's not horrible. Like, it's still basically the same amount of damage. Oh, but it does actually synergize with... Oh, it's still at the end of every even turn. Okay, so it's not anti-synergistic with my prayer beads, which is great. So, I will try it. Might be a mistake, but permanent vulnerability on all enemies seems worth it. Or a little bit of delay to my damage. Deal 8 damage. Let's see what's the buff here. 1 energy cost down. Yeah, I don't need that. I'm just gonna get a deflection up. Oh shit! I have 2 upgrade points. Well, isn't that fancy? Yeah, let's do this. Okay, go back to deck manager, and I'm gonna put the new. Oh, not that. I'm gonna put the new ones in here. Oh, that's not terrible either, because the enemies will most likely be fatigued, so I'll take it, and I will drop that, drop that, yeah, okay, great. Oh, one thing I didn't talk about at all is these little gemstones. So there's this meter up top that whenever you deal damage, it fills this meter up, and you get these like little gemstones. I don't overly like this system, but it allows you to basically slot one of these gems into some of your cards. So I have this one, which is draw one, discard one. It's good, I just find it kind of clunky. I know what to deal with. And then this is... Oh, it adds a copy in your hand, which is pretty handy. Let's do it on... Let's do it on Jackball. Oh. Yeah, let's do that. I think playing 2 of these in a turn is going to be just awesome. Okay, let's go ahead. Let's see where this goes. I don't have enough for this. I can get a yellow voice on that. It's absolutely not worth it. I would love to. Oh, this is cute. It's like character. It's like picture of their mom or whatever. Okay, great. So what is this? Chance to trade in blood for rare uncommon cards. Not worth it. I'm gonna go down here. Okay, let's see what the spells they have to offer. I haven't had a lot of success with extra alternate spells. Yeah, I don't want this. Draw a card, extra up to your next turn, so it's draw 2 cards? Really don't like that very much. No. Nope, we're not doing that. My current card is better. Let's shift this in here. Okay, so we got a big beefy boy here, 108 health. What's this said? Heal stuff. So that's a very beefy boy. But we can jump into this. I have 12 threat next turn. So this is one thing if you really care about this class, is because so much of my block is delayed, you can get kind of caught off guard pretty easily. So like, if I only needed to block 12 threat in 1 turn, I almost certainly couldn't do it. But here, I can do that now. Basically, I only have to deal with 4 next turn, which is awesome. Okay, Foresight. Do that. Just pop those out. And yeah, let's do that. So Foresight allows you to basically reduce the mana cost of a card to 0 next time we play it. So it's really handy for those 2-cost cards. Kind of makes those cards much more viable. I do think in general, multi-energy cards are way more viable in this game than in other ones. I've seen like Slay in other games. As you can see here, we got that delayed block in. Only creates 4 left, which is great, and I can use this, which is awesome. Yeah, we're gonna do that. Beat up. I have 6 threat next turn, but I'm gonna basically block it, so just get some energy back. I don't need any more delayed block here. Great. Oh, and if it's relevant, I only get 5 cards of reduced energy. I've never had that be an issue in this character class, but you can kind of tell that they had some issues in the early balancing of this game of just like how many cards can you draw and how much energy can you use. Okay, let's do that. One thing I do really appreciate in this game is the UX is really good. Once you kind of get the hang of it and kind of learn the mechanics. So you saw stuff like that card had opener on it, and it was actually highlighted, so I knew to basically make sure I played that first. Alright, so we're fatigued, I'm going to draw a card. Bada boom! There's no threat coming in next turn, so I don't really have to worry about it. Just drop all these, which is great. I'm just going to bop them. Should be pretty close here. It's going to heal up a little bit. Alright, do that. Oh, days. Okay, that's just a debuff card. There we go. And we're going to call it there. It may give me threat next turn, but it should pop, I think. Not sure when this triggers. Oh, it's going to trigger on turn 6 now, so I do actually have to deal with a full turn of this, but we're fine, we're fine. We got plenty of blocks. It's not an issue at all. Yeah, we're going to do that. I don't need it. It should pop next turn, fine, but it is good to kind of get ahead of it here. You can see, like, 21 threat if I had to deal with that one turn on this character. Not happening. Some of the other characters are much better about blocking large amounts of damage. You can see 21 threat, and you're like, oh, okay, cool, now it's down to 3. Much more manageable. Okay, we're just gonna pop all that, and I'm just gonna let him pop. We did it! Awesome. So another perfect, which is great. And I can upgrade a card. This is kind of cute. Rigged just means you're guaranteed to draw it at the start of your turn. Which is handy. I do appreciate that. This is actually kind of a bad upgrade. It's 3, 4, 5 damage for 2 cost. It's not really that good. I'm actually better off just like using one of these basic lash kicks. Because remember, all the fatigue scales per hit, so that'll actually add up to a lot of damage, particularly on bosses. Also, apologies for if you can hear the other bird in the background. She's very upset that I have not let her out yet. But she would disrupt this playthrough, so she needs to hang out for a bit. Okay, we're in Zen state. 13th threat next turn. Play this. Drop that mana cost. Do that. There we go. Defensive attack. Gain 4 AP to attack. One thing you'll notice here is that they show you how much threat it is, so you can kind of... It's actually really handy. So one of the problems with some of the other games, like say Spire or other ones that have this sort of telegraphed damage numbers, is it's actually really hard to math it out. You have to kind of like calculate... with a single monster, it's not a problem, right? You'll see like, oh, they're going to do 15 damage. Do I have 15 block? No issues. But in this game, it actually solves the multi-monster problem because it actually shows all the cumulative damage up in this little number down here. And so you can be like, oh, okay, I played a block card. Okay, now I'm back down to... Okay, now I still need 7 block left to take no damage, that kind of thing. So, which is awesome. So yeah, really appreciate the little touches here. 13th threat next turn. I feel like I actually have to pop it. I really don't want to take damage here. It's gonna be a little low on energy next turn, but it's workable. It's definitely workable. Ignores the first instance of damage or debuff. Oh, that's actually really handy because I deal so many multi-hits. It's like not an issue at all. Okay. What do I want to do here? Oh, I actually can't. I have no blocks this turn, which means I am going to take damage, which is unfortunate because I really like not taking damage. Alas. There goes my perfect. And 15 threat. Oh jeez. Yeah, this is where like if you mess up a little bit on this character, you are in rough shape. Draw an extra card. Okay. Yeah. Oh, this is painful. should be okay next turn, because that'll clean out a little bit. Okay, are you vulnerable? Apply vulnerable X to all enemies until each turn. I don't know what that means. I don't see vulnerable on here. Is that just because... Oh, I bet it's because this is ignoring the first debuff automatically each turn. So that's why I'm making anything. Oh, jeez, another block here. That is painful. Okay. Yeah, I gotta do it. It's really crappy because I'm wasting 10 in future block. But nice thing is, when this hits, it should just explode. Because I think it does all the damage I need. And when there's no green health remaining, you're basically in the clear. Do it, just building up a little extra damage there. Style points, and there we go. Now I'm very sad I took 10 damage that fight. Really like to not do that. Okay. Block 1, Vision 1. Oh, that's just straight up better than my Clarity. Yeah, we're gonna swap this out here. Because this is Foresight 1 and this is... Oh, it's Vision, not Foresight. Okay. Yeah, I don't really need that actually. That's not that big a deal. Okay, Rage 25. Let's do that on this guy here. Socket that in. So that gives me a solid Rage 75% if I open with this, which is pretty great actually. I should use the blue crystal as well, but it's kind of annoying to manage, so I'm not going to bother. I want to keep this going as fast as I reasonably can. Yoink. Expel a card. Okay. No threat next turn, so we can drop that nonsense. Save 2 energy that way. It's important on the Foresight cards to try to always make sure you get an extra energy out of it, because if you don't, if it's just 1 energy, you might as well have just burned the card. Like, it's kind of a useless card if you don't use it on a 2 energy cost or higher, because remember, every card is always worth a mana in this game, if you want to use it as such. Look at that, 15 threat next turn. Okay, great. Okay, then we have to do that. Do I want to punch him too? Yeah, why not? We'll do that. The other thing you'll notice in this game, because weakness applies to the model, and the model's already attacked in the threat, like you have to use weakness on sort of 1 turn in advance, which is a little bit different of a nuance than like Slay the Spire or other games like that. There's always like it's a little bit of a twist, which is cool. But just something to be cautious of is that this model doesn't overtly change a lot. It still feels very much like oh hey, they have this much threat on the table and you have to block this much, but it does change a lot of little nuances, mostly for the better, but a few for the worse. Okay, let's draw a card. Oh, here we go, this is the one I like. And 12 threat next turn, so we're just gonna bop everything. I should have done that in reverse. Yeah, whatever, it was fine, he's cleared out. Yeah, there we go. Solid. Every time your deck is reshuffled, Echo Wall 1. That's not terrible. This is the kind of thing where you look at a card like this and you're like, okay, do I really need the Echo Wall and is it a buff or not? But a different way to think about it is this is a way to trim your deck down. Because you still have 20 cards, but the second you play this card, your deck is down to 19 and it's only 1 energy. So it's actually pretty easy to kind of cycle out your deck and get the cards you really want faster. So it's a good card to pick up because you can kind of burn it from your deck. In fact, I'm going to add that in right now. I'm actually going to get rid of one of these gain momentums. Don't really need a ton of those. I have so many blue stones. I should really use these. Put it here to Foresight. Put it into here as well. Okay, so this is one of those things where it's a little tricky, right? I could get this Twisted Shrine, or I could kind of go upwards like this. So I can either go like here, 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 or I could go here, 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 here. But I really want this Elite, because Elites are awesome, because you get artifacts. It's very similar to kind of other deck builders where if you don't, or roguelikes in general actually, if you can't do the challenge stuff on the first round, you're probably in bad shape for later. So it's definitely worth taking those gambles early. And if you fail, I mean restart, right? But it's the first wave, so it's the first level still, so it shouldn't be that hard. Okay, what do we got here? These are all the same, so I have to kill like 3 of these guys before they all stop. They'll gain a bunch of XP, and... Okay, great. So they're gonna flood my deck with crap, and then whenever I draw that crap, they all get extra damage. Great. Okay, well, let's start punching. No threat next turn, so I can burn all these cards pretty safely. So what do we know? They're all. This one's still going, but they're attacking. 8 threat next turn. Okay. That's great. Totally fine. I can drop that. No fatigue there, so I'm not getting anything. Oh, one of the things to keep in mind with draw cards is because cards can also be burned for mana, draw cards are really good. It's almost, you can almost think of it as the card is functionally free. Like a deal X damage and draw card is a free card because you can just burn the second card. It's just better than a free card because you can use its options. It gives you options. Worst case scenario, you just burn it, get your mana back. Okay, let's do that. Let's burn that. Now in this case, they didn't have fatigue yet, so I wouldn't have actually gotten a card, so it's still a little bad, but let's see here. Some threat. Not a problem. I think I mentioned before, but the other thing that's nice about She, generally the Future Strike is going to be faster damage on a single target. You just can build it up faster and better because they're all multi-hit, and so when you get fatigue on it, just like goes nuts. But the nice thing about She is that the leftover She will spread to other targets. So you can kind of create these like chain effects if you, especially in these multi-unit fights. Now my deck is not very She heavy, so I'm probably not going to be able to do that. But I have done runs where, you know, it's almost like no Future Strike damage. It's just all, you know, damage from the bottom of the health bar. Okay, what do we got here? Do that? Okay, great. So you're dead. We will burn that. Burn that. Okay. Oh, well, that's silly. That was actually really terrible. I just discarded the card I wanted. We're gonna pump this just so I can lower that threat a little bit, because I'm not gonna have good threat. Oh, and there we go. That's a chain pop, which is awesome. That's exactly what we're looking for. Okay, this is my 75% damage one, which is just phenomenal. Feels great. Okay, and we're actually gonna burn this. So we'll play that, so I'm covered for next turn. I'm just gonna kind of let that go. Because it's gonna take until round 6 before this damage pops, so it's something to keep in mind that I need to be a little bit cautious. I can't actually get it that fast out the door. That's great. And so you're automatically gonna die. So let's get you in there. Let's follow until this is destroyed after being played, discarded. Oh, so I can just freely discard that. That's great. I have 16 blocks, so I don't need a block. So yeah, also, because you can burn cards to mana, never, ever, ever end with cards in your hand. It's just not worth it. Now, you can theoretically save it for next turn if you feel like that you really need a particular block card or something like that, but for the most part, you want to burn your hand. Just discard your entire... Use your whole hand. Okay, 7th threat next turn. That's fine. Burn that, and that should pop, that should pop, and that should pop. So you can see a lot of that damage transferred over, so I have 21 damage to transfer, which is great. And I didn't get a block because I'm an idiot, so it was perfect. I should have. I think I had a block, I just didn't play correctly. My 2-0 weapon, yeah, I don't care. Boost specs are fine. It's always nice. I do appreciate, really, that foundationally you always are excited to get cards in this game because you don't have to use them, and sometimes you can get combos and stuff later that you're like, oh, this is a cool combo piece I might want to use. Okay, 2 future strike to random enemy 6 times. Purge. Deal 2 future strike to random enemy. Okay, this is actually really cute. I like this card. So you'll see some cards have this purge mechanic. Purge is when you discard a card for mana. So if I discard this card for mana, I get 1 energy and then I still deal 1 tiny hit, which is kind of nice. So I am absolutely excited to play this card. Follow-up is if you play the same card type twice. So if I play a block, then I play another block, I get rage. That doesn't seem very good here, honestly, because I don't want to play 2 blocks to get more damage for that turn. Opener, vulnerable, whatever. What's rewind target? Oh, you can force the creature back to what they were playing a further turn. That's probably really good. The name is awesome. Smack to the future. That's awesome. Okay. Well, we'll take a gander here. I think I'm going to take this this one for sure. I'm going to get rid of another gain momentum because I don't need that. I'm going to close this door a little bit on the off chance bird screaming is too loud. What is this? Oh, block 4. Okay. That's handy. Okay. Well, we'll just toss on a block here. It's fine. Okay, great. We're gonna jump in here. Sort of fight. Okay, this is awesome. So this is why I usually want to chase down elites, is because when you start an elite fight, you can choose. You get an artifact before the fight even happens, and you get to choose. So it's really awesome. Okay, so first each turn is doubled. That's not bad. Second turn, each turn gives you 2 energy to 1. Also not bad. First card played is an opener. The opener is like that's I don't have a lot of openers, so that's not very good. These are both really good. I'm not really having a lot of problems with mana costs, so or I can just gain a bunch of souls. I'm gonna take the Mantis though. Mantis is awesome. So like here, deals 10 chi. Now I deal 20. Like, that's just slick. It's only 4 threat next turn, so I'm not too worried about it. Yeah, we're gonna do that. Yeah, we discard that. Yeah, there we go. That's great. Skeletal Mage. Confusion. What's Confusion do? Oh, everything costs more? That's shitty. 16 threat next turn. Holy hell. Okay. Drop you. Okay. And there we go. This is just a block turn. What's this do? Every time you lose HP, it increases the frenzy. So the frenzy is the number of attacks it makes. So these 2 numbers are multiplied together. So it's like basically damage and number of attacks. Play both of these. It's unfortunate, so we're gonna drop all that. Hit him for a little bit there. It's not a lot of damage. It's really not. It's gonna be a little bit rough. Okay, great. Okay. Block, delete, block, drop, discard 1. Let's get rid of that might have been a mistake. It's not a big deal. Let's do. I should have played that. Actually, I'm doing any damage this turn, so let's not too worried about it. Okay. What is going on here? 5 threat. 5 is not that big a deal. Should be fine. Nope. And I can pop this if I need to. I don't need to, but I'm going to just to get a little bit of extra damage on it. I'd like to be able to kill him on round 6, which means I have to deal a bit of damage this turn. But 20 threat is a lot. But I think I can do it just with this. So the trick is, can I deal enough with just one of these cards? Whew. Okay. I think because I get the doubling, this is probably sufficient. Okay, I can't tell if there's a green sliver in there or not, and math is hard. Yes! Okay, just enough. Fantastic. Perfect victory. Good deal. Yeah, we're not doing that. This actually isn't as bad as I thought it was, because a little bit of fatigue goes a long way, but I don't have enough. It's not an echo wall build, so I can't really take advantage of it. Sisterhood. Lots of burning. All attack cards against this enemy will heal them for 2. So, okay. So let's... I've just already botched this. I need to open with you. Yeah, whatever. Hopefully we can get to the boss, and everything will be peachy. 20 threat next turn is so much. Also, the burning is really annoying. It's like basically it doesn't reduce until you burn cards. So if I do this, I can do that. Get rid of that. Drop that. So I have 18 there, but I'm still taking 5 damage per turn, which is just so much. Okay, so if I bring fatigue up, fatigue will help. If you could stop burning me though, that would be amazing. Great, that fixes that. I think that's enough. 20, 34. Yeah, that's plenty. Okay, great. Okay. So that. 20 threat next turn. Yep, definitely doing that. And we're gonna burn these to get that damage down a little bit. Now, in theory, I might be able to do enough damage for this sheet. Spread over, it would be 11. Get a bit of a stretch. But we can get it to work. Okay, let's do that. Let's do that. Let's do that. 25 threat next turn. It's a lot. Okay. So let's go chain over and chain over. So 21 damage is not bad. Just for free damage on that character. Oh, okay. This is a lot. This might actually be enough. Well, for Future Strike, again, I have to still actually survive until that point. Oh yeah. Amazing. Amazing. So yeah, they're very dead. I just have to, make sure I live long enough for them to be dead. You can also apply weak, see what actually matters. It's only 9 threat, it's not too bad. 27. Thankfully I don't have to actually, I only have to block the 4 this turn, so I don't have to worry too much about it. I think I won this fight. There we go. Perfect victory. I can use that card. 3 Future Strike to a random enemy 6 times. Yeah. This is actually not bad either. This basically, if I upgrade this, it's rigged, which is a guarantee to get a first turn, and it's free. So I just get to basically burn a card from my deck. Yeah, not bad. I'll just take it. It's pretty clean. Let's jump into it. Final fight. This is the boss. Oh, what is happening here? When I draw a card that is an affliction, suffer a threat. So, whew, okay, this is unusual. You don't usually start fights with threat on it, but I can work with this. It's only 2 threat till next turn, which is kind of annoying. Okay, so you notice like these little pets, draw 1 plus AP equal to its cost. So these are going to be annoying. These are going to basically build up damage over time and get more and more and more threatening. But you see they only do 5% of the fight, so I have to kill like 20 of these to end. So basically I really need to beat the crap out of this guy. Yeah, and the other thing is once you kill this guy, he's a boss. These are minions, so once you kill the boss, these automatically die, which wouldn't be that hard to finish off anyways, but it's kind of nice to just have that validation of like, yeah, the boss is the one you need to be worried about. Alright, let's see here. Oh jeez, I don't know what's happening. Oh, they draw one for... okay. Fortitude. This is just block for them. Okay. Well, let's actually pay attention to my numbers. So we're gonna do that. Okay. 8 next turn. Yep. Yep. Great. Okay, I'm totally in the clear here. And calculated. This is totally fine. Again, these bosses take a long time to kill, so having the Future Strike only apply every 3 turns instead of 2 turns, at worst, delays my victory by a turn, which is too bad. Whew, okay, 5 and 8. That's not actually too bad at all. This is probably fine to blast. That, just for funsies. And let's see how this goes. Okay, so you're gonna pop, which is great, because it'll reset your damage numbers, and then the Shi will also transfer around. Yeah, should be fine. So there we go. There we go. Great. Now I'll pass this back to here. This is also great because I have almost 40 on here, which means... never mind. It doesn't matter. I was thinking it would auto-kill these minions once this guy does, but that's already true because, you know, that's how this game works with minions. So a little bit redundant. Okay, let's do this. Foresight. So I'm reduce you down to 0. Choose a card to discard. I'm going to drop that because, again, I need to block this turn like pretty badly. So I'm going to actually play that first. Oh, Jesus. Okay. So, unfortunately, I am not going to be able to... whatever. Punch him for like 1. There we go. I'm going to take some damage. I really wanted perfect. Alas. And my hand is just full of garbage. There we go. Try next turn. Do I want to burn it for 1? Oh, I can just use this. Yeah, I don't need to burn it yet. Okay, great. Yep. Awesome. Okay, so as long as I can stay alive until the end of next turn, I should be great. Shouldn't be any issues here. I think I've won this. So take an extra 5 threat. Not an issue. And now I can just lie back, confident in my ability that I know I won that fight. Okay, so I got a new spell. I don't know if it's any good or not. Well, first I get some cool stuff. Booster pack with guaranteed rare, 25 max health, uncommon artifact. Oh, I should have actually checked what it was. Okay, I regret my decisions. I should have taken one of the other ones, but whatever, it is what it is. I can get an energy potion, I can draft an uncommon from a pool of 3, or I can add an extra elite to floor 2. Okay, I'll take it. It's kind of a lot, but I'll do it. Okay, so we are on round 2, or floor 2 of this. I'm going to wrap this episode up for now, but thank you so much for tuning in, and I will catch you all next time when we conquer floor number 2 on our way to the boss.